Okay, so let me just do one more thing. All right, thank you so much. So we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya, and we're starting with text 94, right? Yes, no?
Read
Just
90.
from
Yeah.
94.
All right, so 94. जल तुलसी दिया करे कायाते सेवन आचार्य सब तारिला भुवन. With his body, he worshipped the Lord by offering Ganges water and tulsi leaves. And by preaching devotional service, he delivered the entire universe. So again, we're continuing to talk about Advaita Acharya. And as we discussed a couple of times before, he offered Ganges water with tulsi leaves to Shaligram Shila, and he called out for Lord Krishna to come to the material world because the situation was very serious. People who were into sinful activities, no pure devotion service going on. Even those people who said devotees, they were Sakam Bhaktas, wanted something, or they were demigod worshippers or Smarta Brahmas who were mainly into rituals. So there was no pure devotion service going on. So Advaitacharya was very upset to see that, and he was invoking the Lord's presence by offering Ganges water and a tulsi leaf to the Shaligam Shila he was worshipping. So that's how he worshipped the Lord, and he preached devotional service, and by doing that, he delivered the entire world, entire universe, it says, by preaching the devotional service. Okay, 95. पृथ्वी धरेन जय शेष संकर्षण काय व्यूह करी करें कृष्ण सेवन. Shesh Sankarshan, who holds all the planets on his heads, expands himself in different bodies to render service to Lord Krishna. So both Sankarshan and the expansion Shesh Sankarshan. Sheshnag, as you know, is holding all the planets on his hoods, and they look like mustard seeds. He's so huge. And then Sankarshan expands himself in different bodies to render service to Lord Krishna because that's all he knows. It serves in different ways. We talked about how it serves as a bed, as shoes, as umbrella, as sacred thread, as ornaments, his pillow, all the paraphernalia. So every which way. And then whatever is left, it does by singing the glories of the Lord. So it's known as Shesh. Okay, 96. यही सब होय श्री कृष्णेर अवतार निरंतर देखी सबार भक्ति आचार. These are all incarnations of Lord Krishna, yet we always find that they act as devotees. So expansion of an expansion of an expansion is still expansion of Krishna. So therefore, everybody from Lord Balaram down has the mood of servant. So even though they're supreme personalities of Godhead, they're servitor Godhead. They have the mood of serving Krishna, as we've seen in the last few verses that we discussed last week. So they are supreme personalities of Godhead. They are incarnations of Krishna, but they act like servants of Krishna. Okay, 97. इस सभा के शास्त्र को है भक्त अवतार पद उपरि सभा. The scriptures call them incarnations as devotees, bhakta avatar. The position of being such an incarnation is above all others. So let's discuss that in the purport. Who wants to read the purport?
I can read too.
Please go ahead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in different incarnations, but his appearance in the role of a devotee is more beneficial to the conditioned souls than the other incarnations, with all their opulences. Sometimes a conditioned soul is bewildered when he tries to understand the incarnation of Godhead with full opulence. Lord Krishna appeared and performed many uncommon activities, and some materialists misunderstood him. But in his appearance as Lord Chaitanya, he did not show much of his opulences, and therefore fewer conditioned souls were bewildered. Misunderstanding the Lord, many fools consider themselves incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the result is that after leaving the material body, they enter the species of jackals. Persons who cannot understand the real significance of an incarnation must attain such lower species of life as punishment. Conditioned souls who are puffed up by false egoism and who try to become one with the Supreme Lord become Mayavadis.
Okay, thank you. So the point that's being made here is that the Lord appears in many different incarnations, but when he appears in the mood of a devotee or in the role of a devotee, then first of all, it's much more beneficial to the conditioned souls like us. Why? Because sometimes we are bewildered when we try to understand the full opulence of the Lord. It's like, how can anybody lift, a 7-year-old child can lift a whole hill? How is it possible that, he can threaten the ocean? So anytime he does something amazing, how can he expand into billions of forms? So people say, no, we don't believe it. Because we cannot understand it, we don't believe it. So any uncommon activities performed by the Lord is not understood or misunderstood by common man. But when the common man sees a devotee, they say, okay, we understand that. So nobody had a problem with Lord Chaitanya because he just simply acted like a devotee. Okay, so that's one point. The second point that's being made here is that um, where is it? Many fools consider themselves incarnations of superior personality of Godhead, but the result is that after leaving the material body, they enter the species of jackal. So people who say, I'm God, next birth they get jackal, Gita. And those who are so puffed up that they want to become one with the God, they take birth as Mayavadis. Okay? Or they actually, even that same birth, they become Mayavadis. Okay, 98. एकमात्र अंशी कृष्ण अंश अवतार अंशी अंश देख ज्येष्ठ कनिष्ठ आचार. But Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and all others are his parts and partial incarnations. We find that the whole and the part behave as superior and inferior. So, Mame one should, sorry, not that. Ham sarvasya prabho mitta sarvam pravartite. Krishna is saying Bhagavad Gita 10.8 that everybody or everything is coming from me. I'm the Lord of everything. So even the incarnations, they are all coming from him. And the incarnations are described in Bhagavatam as ete chas kala pumsa. So ansh means a part and kala means part of the part. So for example, Lord Balaram is a part of Krishna. But Sankarshan, who is an expansion of Balaram, is Kala. And everybody after that, all the Purusha avatars, they're all Kala of Krishna. Okay, that's the definition. So Ansher Ansh is Kala, and Ansh is, of course, Ansh. So that's one point. Second point is that, like in anything, the part of anything is inferior to the whole thing. So same concept here, that is concept of inferiority or superiority, but only in a very metaphorical sense. It's not that Lord Ram is inferior to Lord Krishna. It's not that. They're not different. Right? But in the mood, you say, okay, they're taking the mood of servant. Krishna always keeps the mood of a savior, which is to be worshipped. Okay? But it's just all a matter of mood. So next verse will tell you more details. Jeshta bhave anshite hoye prabhu gyan, kanishta bhave apnate bhakta abhiman. The source of all incarnations has the emotions of a superior. So emotions. When he considers himself the master, and he has emotions of an inferior when he considers himself devotee. Okay? So it's just a mood, the emotion, not in reality. In reality, they're all the same. There's no inferior, superior. Okay, I want to make sure that that point is very clear. Now, about the emotions they carry, bhav in Hindi se jaise. What is their bhav? So Balaram ji always has a bhav of a servant. Okay, all right. So let's read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read it?
Please do.
A fraction of a particular thing is called a part, and that part from which the fraction is distinguished is called the whole. Therefore, the fraction or part is included within the whole. The Lord is the whole, and the devotee is the part or fractional part. That is a relationship between the Lord and the devotee. There are also gradations of devotees who are calculated as greater or lesser. When a devotee is great, he is called Prabhu, and when he is lesser, he is called Bhakta or a devotee. The supreme whole is Krishna and Baldev, and all Vishnu incarnations are his fractions. Lord Krishna is therefore conscious of his superior position, and all Vishnu incarnations are conscious of their positions as devotees.
Thank you. So as I was saying before, so a part is a fraction of the whole thing, and a part is included in the whole thing. So Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. So the famous verse from Ishopanishad, I think basically something is coming out of the whole, but what's coming out is the whole, and what's left is the whole also, WHOLE. So therefore everything is whole. But in the concept, they're part, and in the emotions, they carry the emotion of a servant. Even though they're supreme personalities of Godhead, even though they're not different from Krishna, even though they are whole, but they still carry the emotion or mood of a servant. Okay? Is that confusing or is that okay?
This is okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, all right. Thank you. 100th. Krishnere samata hoite bada bhaktapad, atma hoite Krishnere bhakta hoye premaspad. The position of being a devotee is higher than that of equality with Lord Krishna. For the devotees are dearer to Lord Krishna than his own self. So devotees are dearer to Krishna than his own self. Okay? And we'll explain this more in the purport. Let's read the purport.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
The conception of oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is inferior to that of eternal service to the Lord, because Lord Krishna is more affectionate to devotees than to his personal self. In Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.68, the Lord clearly says, Sadhavor hridayam mahayam sadhunam hridayam tav aham mad anyat te na janati naham tebhyo manag api. The devotees are my heart, and I am the heart of my devotees. My devotees do not know anyone but me. Similarly, I do not know anyone but my devotees. This is the intimate relationship between the Lord and his devotees.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Vishnu is speaking to Durvasa Muni. So you all know the story of Durvasa Muni and King Ambrish, how he had tried to kill King Ambrish. And Sudarshan Chakra was right there to protect the king and was chasing Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was running for his life. He was running from planet to planet to planet. He went to Lord Shiva, he went to Lord Brahma. And finally, he reached to Lord Vishnu and said, My Lord, you have declared before that anybody who surrenders to you, you will protect. So I surrender and you protect me for Sudarshan Chakra. And the Lord said, No way. No way. And first he says, Aham Bhakta Paradhino. Nahi Swatantra Ivduja. Sadhubir Hridayo Bhakta Bhak Janay Priya. He says, My dear Durvasa, I am completely under the control of my devotees. How much control? As much control as a little bird, sorry, a cage has for a little bird. Little bird has no movement except whatever the size of the cage is. That's it. So what's the size of the cage in which the devotees have got you? The size of their heart. And we all know how small the heart is. So the Lord is saying, I have no movement. I have no freedom. I'm completely under their control. I'm not independent. I'm dependent upon them. I have no freedom. And then he says, that's the verse quoted here, Sadhavo hridayam mayam. The devotees are my heart. Sadhanam hridayam tuham. And I am the heart of my devotees. Mad anya tera janati. They don't know anybody except me. They don't know anybody else. Similarly, naham tebhyo managati. I do not know anyone but my devotees. So the devotees don't know anyone but me. They don't recognize anybody. Krishna is saying, Lord Vishnu is saying, and I don't recognize anybody but my devotees. What does that mean? Northern Das Thakur has sung in the glorification of Vaishnava. He says, he's addressing the Vaishnava. He says, Tomar Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishram. The Lord is residing in your heart all the times. The word that's used very interesting. It's called Vishram. What does word Vishram mean? Anybody know?
Rest.
A little more than rest.
Just free from all the things like resting.
Yes. So free from all worries, free
Worries.
from all disturbances,
Yes.
free from any commotion, just resting totally undisturbed.
Correct.
Now, is the Lord resting like that in my heart? No. Why is that? Because my heart is full of material desires,
Okay.
full of demands. Oh, I want a color TV now. Now I want a Mercedes Benz. Now I want a 6,000 square foot house. Now I want a vacation to Bahamas or whatever. Constantly desiring something. I want a son now. I want a son-in-law now. Or granddaughter now. Grandkid now. Whatever. They're like the desires come like the waves in an ocean. So now imagine yourself in your bed. And let's say you have a child 6 years old or grandchild 6 years old, it's constantly shaking you. Now I want to go to the washroom. Now I want candy now. I'm hungry. Give me some food now. I'm thirsty. All night he does that. What kind of rest will you have?
No rest.
No rest. So similarly, in our heart, my heart, Krishna is not resting. But in devotee's heart, he's resting.
Mm.
So in that heart, he becomes captured like a bird in the cage.
Mm.
Telling Durvasa Muni, sorry, I have no independence. And he is saying, I reside in the heart. So now, what is the other implication? The other implication is if the devotees reside, so sorry, we talked about the Lord residing in the devotee's heart. But Krishna says, also the devotees reside in my heart. Right? The second line saying, devotees reside in my heart. What does that mean? If I hurt a devotee, who am I hurting? The Lord's heart. Right? Everybody agree? So whenever I'm offending a devotee, I'm hurting a devotee, I'm offending and hurting the Lord. So the Lord gets very upset. And that is why if we offend a devotee, it's like we have invited a mad elephant in our garden. What does a mad elephant do? It just literally uproots everything. And certainly uproots the creeper of devotional service. So gone, finished. So this is why Vaishnava opera is considered so serious. At all costs, we have to avoid that. So that's one thing. Second thing is, because the Lord is residing in the heart of the devotee, he's constantly instructing him. So whatever a devotee does is by the direct instruction of the Lord. Therefore, whatever he does must be right. Sometimes we start to criticize devotees, thinking they're doing this wrong, they're doing that wrong. But no, pure devotees are acting 100% on instructions of the Lord, which can never be wrong. So therefore, criticizing a devotee is tantamount to criticizing the Lord himself, and hurting the Lord badly, hurting him right in the heart. So therefore, we all have to be very careful about how to treat a devotee. Now, because the devotee is getting instructions from the Lord directly, sometimes we don't understand his actions. So there's a wonderful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that says, Vaishnavar Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bujhaya, which means the activities and the expressions of a devotee, nobody can understand. Because he's doing that, acting that way by direct instructions of the Lord, which we may not always understand. So this verse is making a very big point about how a devotee is considered higher than the Lord himself by the Lord. The devotee is saying, no, I just want the dust of the lotus feet. And what is Krishna doing? Taking the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, of the devotee. What is Krishna doing with the sandals of Nanda Maharaj? He tries
Putting
to
on
put
his
them
head.
up, put on his head.
Yeah.
On his head, sandals on his head. Why? Because Nanda Maharaj is a devotee. Krishna will do anything, including walking 400 kilometers, because somebody needed a witness. You all know the story of Sakshi Gopal,
Yep.
right? Every time he saw Mother Kunti, he offered prostrated obeisances. Not because she was an aunt, but she was a pure devotee. He touched the feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj, not because he was an elder cousin, but because he was a pure devotee. There's so many examples. Narad Muni, every time Narad Muni came to see him in Dwarka, what did he do? Gave him a seat, washed his lotus feet, sprinkled it on his head and everybody else's head. When Sudama came, what did he do? Gave his own seat, washed his feet, and sprinkled on everybody. That's the Lord's mood. So he says, the worship of my devotee is greater than my worship. Okay? And the only thing that's greater than the devotee of the Lord is the devotee of the devotee of the Lord. Okay, you all get that? The servant of the servant. So this is what this particular verse is trying to explain to us. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, all right, so we'll move on. 101. Atma hoite Krishna bhakte badi kar mane, ihate bahut shastra vachan pramane. But Krishna considers his devotees greater than himself. In this connection, the scripture provides an abundance of evidence. So Krishna says, my devotees are greater than me. The worship of my devotees is greater than my worship. And he says before he comes as Lord Krishna to the material world, he says, I like it when my devotees act my superior. And they instruct me, they chastise me, they try to train me, they try to teach me. I like it very much. He says, when Radharani chastises me, her chastisement is much better to me than all the Vedic hymns combined. You worship me with Vedic hymns, I don't particularly care. But I love it when she chastises me. His friends used to say, who do you think you are? You're not greater than me. We are equal to or greater than you. And they'll climb on his shoulders and tell him to run. When he lifted Govardhan Hill, his friend Madhu Mangal said after the event, hey Krishna, don't think anything big. You did not lift the Govardhan Hill by yourself. It was the power of my austerities that lifted it by itself. And the other boss chipped in. And by the way, when you were getting nervous, your hand was shaking, we were the ones with the stick holding the hill up. Like they actually believed it. They were not joking. They actually believed it. And Krishna says, that I like. My devotee is greater than me, Krishna says. So it's leading to some point here, because we talk about Advaita as being the devotee. So that's what's leading to. But all these points are being made that we have to remember this. Okay. 102. न तथा में प्रियतम आत्मयोनिर्न शंकरः न च संकर्षणो न शीर नैवात्मा च यथा भवान ओ उद्धव neither Brahma nor Shankar nor Sankarshan nor Lakshmi Not even my own self is dear to me as you are. This Krishna is speaking to Uddhava, his devotee.
Mm.
Like Brahma, Shiva, Sankarshan, Lakshmi, even me are not as dear to me as you are. Why? Because you're my devotee. Okay. That's how big a devotee is. And what do we do? Left and right insult them. Left and right offend them. So this is a huge lesson for us that when you're offending a devotee, you're offending the Lord directly. You're hurting the Lord in the heart. So it's not surprising that there's so serious negative consequences of offending a devotee. Okay. 103. कृष्ण साम्य नहे तार माधुर्य आस्वादन भक्त भावे करे तार माधुर्य चरवन. Beautiful verse. The sweetness of Lord Krishna is not to be tasted by those who consider themselves equal to Krishna. It is to be tasted only through the sentiment of servitude. So anybody who thinks they are equal to Krishna does not taste the sweetness of Krishna. Only those who have a service attitude, they taste sweetness. The gopis tasted his sweetness. Radharani tasted his sweetness. Yashoda Maya, the boys, the sakhas, they tasted sweetness. But any Mayavadi or anybody like, what was that, Pondrak Krishna, who said, no, no, I'm the real Krishna, who are you? They can't taste the sweetness. There's no way. Anybody who comes say, I'm bigger, I can defeat you, this and that, no way. Okay? But if you have the service attitude, you taste it. And whichever mellow it is, you taste it.
Prabhuji, may I ask a question at this point?
Please, Mataji, do.
So when you say devotee, you're not distinguishing between a pure devotee and a devotee. Devotee is just a Vaishnava who's
So the implication in all the big things I'm talking about is that it's a pure devotee. So this is why I gave my example that I'm a aspiring devotee, and the Lord is not resting in my heart. So go ahead, Mataji, offend me all you want. You're okay.
so the reason I'm asking this question is because you said we keep criticizing devotees left and right. That's where I got confused. We are all aspiring devotees around
So
us.
Mataji is
So we
like
can go.
the degree. Everybody is devoted to a certain degree, even the sadhakas, even the aspiring ones.
Mm-hmm.
To that degree. But the reason I was saying that statement is that you or I do not know who's pure and who's not 100% pure.
Correct.
That's
So
Yeah.
it's a risk you cannot take. And this is why I also quoted that verse, Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhujai. Some devotee, pure devotee, may be acting like a non-devotee. And you start criticizing, and huge offense. I'll give an example. Everybody knows Ramanand Roy, right? Who was he in Krishna Lila?
He was Lalita.
Lalita, right? So now when he went to Jagannath Puri, he was living there, and one of his services was to dress the Devdasis. Now, Devdasis were 13, 14-year-old girls, young girls. He will dress them up. And people were criticizing that, look at this man, he's dressing a new young girls. But they did not understand. This is Vishakha Saki. He's not in the mood of a man. In heart, he's a woman. Vishakha Saki, how pure can they get? So therefore, there's no impurity in that. But people don't know. So just an example that we don't know. So therefore, our mood should be, I am the non-devotee, everybody else is a pure devotee. And that's how we have to handle everybody. Because we don't know. And considering somebody, oh, I'm better than you, is a very puffed up thing, egotistical, and actually hurts our devotional service.
yes.
Okay?
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions?
Prabhuji,
Huh?
just to continue with the same question,
Huh?
you also mentioned if somebody wants to be higher than that, then has to be servant of the devotee.
Now, I was saying that Only one higher than the devotee of Krishna is the devotee of Krishna.
So I think let's say we're implying like you're a servant of the Krishna, like somebody who has taken initiation from a very senior devotee is a servant of the Krishna.
Mataji, we're talking about the purity, not in the literal. It's not a hierarchy. It's not a hierarchy like, okay, you're Prabhupada's disciple, you're servant of the servant. Now, you're Prabhupada's disciple, you're servant of the servant of the servant.
Hmm.
Only in certain sense, but not in the sense we were discussing. The
So,
purity has to be there.
so Prabhuji,
Sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
how do we define the servant of the servant then?
As I said, the one who's serving the servant of Krishna is servant of the servant of Krishna.
Okay.
But we're talking about pure service, not only service in name. So, like, for example, there are many people who take initiation because they want the status of being initiated.
Hmm.
Literally, they want the status. But are they really a servant?
No.
They're not, right? Similarly, it is said that um, when the Guru Ashtakam says, Janame, Janame, how did it go? Like life after life, you're my master. What's the line?
Divya Gyan Hriday Janme Janme Prabhu se.
Janame, Janame Prabhu say. Yeah, exactly. So it's saying that life after life after life, you are my master. And the implication is that until I am delivered, you keep being my master. Right? And you keep coming back. Now ask yourself, if I'm a rascal, why would my spiritual master come back to deliver me?
Correct.
However, on the other hand, I am very pure, I'm following all his instructions, yes, he will come back. Right? And that's the distinction I'm trying to make.
Hmm.
Is that clear or confusing?
Why would the master would come back if somebody is not able to do the sadhana properly, or maybe has
No,
not?
that's what I'm saying. He won't. That's what I'm saying. So the implication is somebody's doing the sadhana properly, somebody's following all the instructions to the fullest.
Hmm.
Right? Now, there might be some exceptions because I heard a story about a Prabhupada disciple who had actually fallen down. And then after a long time, he got very sick. He was in the hospital. And the doctor said, you got, maybe an hour to live. And he was fine. And then suddenly he woke up. Like he was almost in a coma. He woke up and said, Prabhupada, you are here. And then he dropped dead.
Oh.
So it's an exception because he was not exactly following all the instructions of Prabhupada. He had actually fallen down. But Prabhupada cared enough to take him home.
Okay.
But my point is, we cannot take a risk.
Hmm.
Like my spiritual master may not come for me because I'm such a rascal. Right? So we have to develop pure devotional service and whatever it takes to do that. All the processes, chanting, serving, living in the dham, reading Bhagavatam, associating with the devotees, all those 64 limbs that Rupa Goswami talks about in active devotion, we have to do that. And we have to do them sincerely while controlling the mind.
Hmm.
Always recognize the mind to be our worst enemy. That's what's keeping us away from Krishna. Krishna is trying to come all the time. Every time we start chanting, he stands in front of us, but he leaves because we're not paying any attention. Or we're thinking something else, which means you're talking to somebody else. So imagine, Mataji, you come to my house. Hypothetically speaking, you come to my house, I let you in, I give you a seat on the sofa in the living room, and I turn the TV on and I start watching TV. Right? And then I go to the kitchen and I start helping my wife with whatever. And then we say, dinner's ready, please come to the dining table. You come, I take out the cell phone, start looking at the cell phone, didn't talk to you for a minute. You stayed for 3 hours and you left. Will you ever come back?
Never.
Never. That's Krishna's situation. You say, how can I come? You don't talk to me. But at least he's noticing. But those who don't even notice, this is a different problem.
It's quite
Right?
an offense to, yeah,
Sorry,
it's quite an
Mataji?
offense to God.
I'm sorry, Mataji?
It's quite an offense to God that we're chanting, but we're not chanting properly, and then
But we are doing that. We are doing that. How many people do you know? Maybe you are an exception, but how many other people do you know whose mind does not deviate when they're chanting? Mine starts at second number one. Once first second, and it starts deviating. I'm making all my plans, my
yes,
past deeds, all my future things. I'm planning all this.
in fact, the moment you think you will not deviate, the very next moment you don't realize we deviate.
Oh yeah, it's just
Mind is
crazy.
But Babaji, everyone, you ask this question to. Everybody says, because like mind is very hard to control. They say just keep on chanting. Just keep on chanting. So it's
Yes.
almost like the
Correct.
chanting is the chanting is going to fix your mind. Like I don't think the harder I try to control the mind, the harder it gets. It seems
Absolutely.
like it's
Absolutely.
even challenges me more,
Absolutely. So actually, if you go to chapter 6, text 44 or 43 maybe, Chittalam Himana Krishna Pramad Balbhadram, Tasaham Nigraham Mane Vayura. So Arjuna is saying that it's difficult, it's easier to control the wind than the mind. And that's the only time in Bhagavad Gita Krishna agreed with Arjuna right away. He says, Asansyam Mahabaho. Manado Digamra. Yes, you're right. There's no doubt about that. Then he gives the remedy. He says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagya. Practice, practice, practice. And that's what you're saying. So if your mind is running around, chant more. Chant, chant, chant until you can't think anything else.
That's what our Guru Maharaj is saying.
Exactly. Exactly. You want to develop taste for chanting? Chant more. And control your mind, chant more. It's the one shoe fits all solution to all problems of the world. You chant, there'll be no fights. There'll be no wars. There will be no poverty. There will be no hungry people. But we don't chant. As a matter of fact, ISKCON people should go and tell the world this rain there because we are chanting. This grains there, and I'm serious. The grains there because we are chanting, because chanting is the sacrifice. Right? That's the Sankirtan Yajna. It's because we are doing that, the world is getting food. The world is getting rains. And I'm not being fanatic, it's true.
Perfect, Prabhuji.
So chanting is very powerful. You just have to use it properly. And Kirtaniya Sadahari. When you develop the taste, you will actually not stop chanting. Okay? Is that making sense?
Yep.
Lot of sense, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Babaji,
Gayatri?
I had a question. Yes, we keep on hearing this term like das and udas and udas. Like how do you create that consciousness where you consider yourself the servant of the servant of the servant? Because we all have egos and we all think we are better than everybody else.
We are so used to thinking we are the boss on a boss.
Yes.
So to move from boss on a boss to das on a das is a very big jump. And the only time it can happen is that when you give up your false ego. Until then, you cannot do devotional service. You cannot be das on a das. So again, chanting allows you to give up your false ego by the process of Chaitanya Darpan Marjana. And Lord Chaitanya says, Param Bhujayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glory is Shri Krishna because that's the only thing that can do this. There's no toothbrush, there's no toothpaste that will allow you to do that. Right? There's no medication you can take to do that. It's chanting, chanting, chanting. But in what mood? Radha Vishnu. But here's the funny part. You don't have the Radha Vishnu attitude. So you're chanting without that mood. But Lord Chaitanya says, chant in that mode. So you say, what do I do? Then he says, Param Bhujayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. You keep chanting with your not Radha Vishnu attitude and automatically develop Radha Vishnu. So this is why you go from offensive stage to offenseless stage to pure stage. So right now we're at the official stage, trying to get to the official stage by constantly chanting, so Pranadam solution will automatically appear. And then we'll be in the Namabha stage or official stage. And then we'll keep doing that. Finally, you get to the pure stage. When the pure stage is obtained, how do you know you're at a pure stage? Because then the holy name will appear in front of you. Then the form of the Lord will appear in front of you. The qualities of the Lord will appear in front of you. The dham will appear in front of you. And the pastimes will appear in front of you. That's automatic. You're not imagining. It'll appear automatically. And this is what Narad Muni told Vyasadeva when Vyasadeva was saying, what's going on? I've written the 17 Puranas, I've written all the Vedas, Mahabharata. I'm still feeling no satisfaction in my heart. Narad Muni said, actually, he came to the conclusion himself that it's because I've not glorified the devotional service of the Lord. It's because I've not glorified the pastimes of the Lord. And when Narad Muni came, he said, yes, that's what you have not done. So do that. But you're pure. So therefore, when you get into a trance, all these pastimes will automatically come to you as a vision. And then you can write about this. So there's no mental concoction here. That's just writing Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no mental concoction. There's no made up stories. He's seeing it, writing it. Seeing it, writing it. And that goes for most of the pure devotees when they write. And that is why sometimes you get different description of the same event. It's because they have different vision, which means it happened some other kalpa. But that's the vision they got. But they are writing only what they see. They don't make it up. It's not fiction. They are actually seeing it and they're writing it. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, Prabhu.
So our focus should be chanting.
Focus should be chant, 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 chant. And just don't think, hear the mind when it says can't. Just chant. Add the H, as they say. Add the H. Add the H to say can't.
Who is that?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Let's go to
107.
104, right?
7, I think.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
No.
104.
No, sorry, 104.
Mataji, jaldi mein ho gaya aaj.
104.
104, okay.
Yeah.
शास्त्र के सिद्धांत यही विज्ञेर अनुभव मूल लोक के नाहि जाने भावेर वैभव. This conclusion of the revealed scripture is also the realization of the experienced devotees. Fools and rascals, however, cannot understand the opulences of devotional emotions. So let's read the purport. I'll explain this. This is wonderful verse also. Who wants to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So when a person is liberated in the Swarupa form of liberation, having a spiritual form, exactly like a Vishnu, it is not possible for him to release the relationship of Krishna's personal associates in their exchanges of mellows. The devotees of Krishna, however, in their loving relationship with the Krishna, sometimes forget their own identities. Sometimes they think themselves one with the Krishna and yet release still greater transcendental mellow in that way. People in general, because of their foolishness only, try to become masters of everything, forgetting the transcendental mellow of servitorship to the Lord. When a person is actually advanced in spiritual understanding, however, he can accept the transcendental servitorship of the Lord without hesitation. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So this is a very, very interesting point here. So all those devotees of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayan, the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu or Narayan, where do they end up?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. To the
Vaikuntha,
Vaikuntha
right? Vaikuntha planets. Now, they can get one of the 4 types of liberations. Right? What are the 4 types I'm talking about? Anybody?
Sarupya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarshti. And there's one more.
Salokya, Sarupya,
Got it. Okay.
Ayuja, yes.
So Salokya is like in the same planet. So somewhere there. So like we're on the earth, but I could be in Toronto and you could be in Vancouver or you could be in India. So same planet, but not close. Right? So that's Salokya. The Samipya is actually close. So like Jai and Vijay were close to Lord Narayan. Right? They're directly serving him. Sarshti is same opulence. And Sarupya is same form. Okay. So the first line of the purport is saying that those devotees of Lord Vishnu who got the Sarupya liberation, which means they look like Vishnu, but they feel no mellows of relationship with Krishna. What's the mellow? The only mellow, really only significant mellow in Vaikuntha Lokas?
Dasya.
I'm sorry?
Dasya.
Dasya, exactly right. That's so servitorship. That's the only mellow they know. So will they ever shout at Lord Vishnu? Will they try to hug him?
No.
Let me tell you
They
a
will
story.
never shout.
Huh?
They will never shout on Krishna.
I know. So let me tell you a story about Lord Krishna. One time he was playing with his friends. And the rule was if you lose, they had to pick me up on your shoulders and run. So Krishna was playing that game with Sri Dham, who's the brother of Radharani. And Krishna lost. Sri Dham said, okay, pick me up on your shoulder like a horse and run. He says, I'm not doing that. Sri Dham said, you have to. It's the rule of the game. We agreed before the game. He said, I'm not doing that. Sri Dham said, why not? Now Krishna making stories. Because I'm the king. And Sri Dham said, you're not the king. Your father maybe, you're not the king. It's okay, fine, I'm the prince. And Sridhama says, you may be prince in your house, not here. So get down, let me climb your shoulder and run. Krishna said, I'm not doing that. Sridhama said, Krishna, follow the rules. Get down, let me climb your shoulders. Krishna said, I'm not doing that. Sridhama said, get out. Get out, we're not playing with you. Leave this place. And you see that tree far from here? Go sit under that, don't move from it. And Krishna actually walked, sat under the tree. And the boys kept playing. So some boys were looking at Krishna, and Sridhama said, don't look at him because that's what he wants. He wants to feel we are missing him. Ignore him completely. So everybody started ignoring him. 1 hour went by, 2 hours went by, Krishna sitting there. Now he's thinking, these guys are not even looking at me. Not even playing with me. They threw me out. Did I leave Golok Dham for this? And Sridhama is getting really upset, but nobody's still looking at him. Krishna started crying. When they saw him crying, they called him. He said, will you now be the horse? Krishna said, yes. So Sridhama climbed on his shoulder. Krishna ran. Can you ever imagine this scenario with Lord Vishnu? Can you ever imagine that? That mellow doesn't exist. That mellow doesn't exist. It's master servant. That's it. Even with Mother Lakshmi, supposed to be wife, which means Madhurya Ras. It's like maybe 1% Madhurya Ras, 99% Dasa Ras. It's a very formal relationship, even husband-wife relationship, very formal. What picture do we see? Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi, what pose are they in?
Lord Lakshmi is at Vishnu's feet.
Right, always massaging his lotus feet, he's lying down. That's the only picture we see. We don't see them embracing ever. We don't see them playing ball ever. We don't see Mother Lakshmi angry ever. The mellows don't exist. So the point is being made here that the devotees of Vishnu don't understand the mellows that Krishna's devotees have with Krishna. Proving the superiority of the mellows in service of Krishna. Okay, and in that mellows, in that loving service, sometimes the devotees forget who they are. They start thinking, I'm bigger than Krishna. I am Krishna myself. I can do whatever he can do. In the Charitamrita we read some time ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, Tumi kona bada? Ami to masam. Who do you think you are? You're not bigger than us. We're equal to you, maybe bigger than you. He's telling directly on his face, telling Krishna. So listen to what we're saying. Do what we're telling you to do. Right? That mellow doesn't exist anywhere else. Only with Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees. Okay. And there is a lot of transcendental pleasure, both for Krishna and Krishna devotees when that happens. Krishna says, this is why I'm coming. Before Krishna appears, he says, I'm not coming so you can serve me in a mood of opulence. Because my incarnations can do that. I'm not coming for that. I'm not coming to kill the demons. Vishnu incarnation can do that. I'm not coming for being worshipped in a formal way with mantras and tantras and mudras. I'm coming simply to interact with pure devotees where they think they're superior to me. That's what Krishna says before he appears. So there's mellow in that doesn't exist anywhere else. There's pleasure for Krishna and pleasure for Krishna's devotees in that world. Okay, but that's possible only when the devotee accepts the servitorship of Krishna. Without that, you cannot have that relationship. Without that, you cannot have that pleasure. Okay, so even those who are in Madhurya Ras, they carry Dasya Ras. Even those who are in Vatsalya Ras, they carry Dasya Ras. Even those who are in Sakha Ras, they carry Dasya Ras. So everybody carries the Dasya Ras. And that's where the pleasure comes from. Okay? So nobody's looking to be served by Krishna. Nobody's looking how to serve Krishna, whether they're parents or friends or the conjugal relationship of gopis and Radha. Okay? Any questions? Okay. 105, 106. Bhakta Bhav Angikari Balaram Lakshman Advaita Nityananda Shesh Sankarshan Krishnere Madhurya Rasa Amrit Kare Pan Sahi Mukhe Makta Kichu Nahi Jane Han. How beautiful. Baladev, Lakshman, Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityanand, Lord Shesha, and Lord Sankarshan taste the nectarian mellows of transcendental bliss of Lord Krishna by recognizing themselves as being his devotees and servants. That's where their pleasure is coming from. They say, I'm your servant. I'm your devotee, which is same as servant. They are all mad with that happiness. And they know nothing else. It's a 24/7 madness. Constant bliss. And therefore they don't know anything else. Nothing else gives them pleasure. Not money, not position, not power, not fame. It's all insignificant like dust particle. Okay.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Rajabu.
I just realized when you were reading this verse, when we read Sanskrit shloka, it's more like Narayan form, and this when you read, it feels more emotions, like
Yep.
especially this. I don't know. This what I thought.
What we read now is showing more emotions.
Yeah, so I don't know. So this is in Bengali. I don't know if it's just the language or what it is, but it feels like when you're reading Sanskrit shloka, it's more formal, more like a Vishnu form, and this is more personal, more
Yes.
more nectarian.
Yes, absolutely right. Also, Bengali is a very sweet language, so that helps also. And imagine there's somebody with a real nice Bengali accent. I mean, I can't read Bengali accent. I read Bengali in UP accent. So I think Devjani is here today. She probably can. She's probably pulling her hair saying, that is not Bengali.
Prabhuji, you are very sweet.
Hare Krishna,
Good
Devjani.
morning. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
So
Dandavat, thank you,
she's
Prabhuji.
true Bengali, so she is totally different effect. I'm just pretending.
No, Prabhuji, you are very sweet.
Thank you. Okay, 107. Mataji, caught up with you now. Madhu Mataji. अन्यरे अच्छों के कार्य आपने श्री कृष्ण आपने माधुर्य पाने होइला से तृष्ण. What to speak of others? Even Lord Krishna himself becomes thirsty, taste his own sweetness. So when did that happen? Anybody? When did Lord Krishna get so thirsty to taste his own sweetness?
He appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Right, exactly. This is the reason why he did that.
Yep.
Right?
'Cause
This is the reason why he did that.
Yep.
Right? 108. And the example, when we were talking about this many months ago, we were saying that if you ask a mango, how sweet are you? Mango has no idea, right? But only the person who's eating that mango can tell you how sweet that is,
Correct.
right? So similarly, Krishna cannot talk about his own sweetness. He doesn't know. Only the devotees of Krishna know. So if he wants to taste it himself, he's come back as a devotee.
Prabhuji, when you asked this question, the thing that struck my mind was when Krishna, as the baby, put his toe in his mouth.
Still not the same, Mataji.
Same, yeah.
That's nectar coming, yes, but not the transcendental pleasure.
Yes, yes, you're right. The experience is as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, 108. स्वमाधुर्य आस्वादिते करेन जतन भक्त भाव विनुन है ताहा आस्वादन. He tries to taste his own sweetness. Like example, Mataji gives sucking on his own toes, but he cannot do so without accepting the emotions of a devotee. That's the only way, is to accept the emotions of a devotee. So Lord Shri Krishna wanted to relish the transcendental mellow of a devotee, and therefore he accepted the role of a devotee by appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Krishna Mahaprabhu ki jai. Right? Okay,
Yep.
109. Bhakta Bhav Angikari Haila Avatir Shri Krishna Chaitanya Rupa Sarva Bhave Purn. Therefore, Lord Krishna accepted the position of a devotee and descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya. He's complete in every aspect. So, how is that? Because he's Krishna himself. So, Krishna is complete in every way. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is complete in every way. This is the verse we were talking about earlier. Om Purnam Idam Purnamada Purnat Purnamudachyate. Everybody's complete. Nana Bhakta
Hare Krishna.
Bhava. I'm sorry?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was just gonna say something.
Go ahead.
In one way, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even like more complete because he has the feelings of a devotee, right? He has both aspects.
Yes. So this is the thing about the absolute platform. More complete is still just complete.
Yes,
right?
that is true. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the thing. So yes, you're right, but complete is also right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. 110. नाना भक्त भावे करें स्वमाधुर्य पान पूर्वे करी अच्छे a सिद्धांत व्याख्यान. It tastes its own sweetness through the various emotions of a devotee. I have formally explained this conclusion. So let's read the purport and we'll talk about this. Short purport. Who wants to read it?
I will read it, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Sri Gaur Hari, is complete in relishing all the different mellows, namely neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, parental affection, and conjugal love. By accepting the ecstasy of different grades of devotees, he is complete in relishing all the mellows of these relationships.
Great. So again, he's accepting different moods and therefore tasting different types of ecstasies depending upon mellow in which he's thinking about devotee. And because all the 5 mellows are included, is complete in relation all those relationships, all mellows of all relationships. 111. अवतार गणेर भक्त भावे अधिकार भक्त भाव होते अधिक सुख नहीं आर. All the incarnations are entitled to the emotions of devotees. There's no higher bliss than this. Okay, let's read the purport. Any volunteers?
I can read it.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
All the different incarnations of Lord Vishnu have the right to play the roles of servitors of Lord Krishna by descending as devotees. When an incarnation gives up the understanding of his godhood and plays the part of a servitor, he enjoys a greater taste of transcendental mellows, and when he plays the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Right. So, whenever the Lord comes as a devotee, it seems like the taste of the mellow is greater than when he's playing the role of God himself. So once again, the point being made that you need to be a devotee to enjoy the mellows, and the mellow is greater, then we can enjoy it as the Lord himself. 112. मूल भक्त अवतार श्री संकर्षण भक्त अवतार ताहि अद्वैत गणन. The original Bhakta avatar is Sankarshan. Shadvait is counted among such incarnations. Okay, let's read the purport. Any volunteers?
I can read.
Please go ahead. Pallavi Matan.
Although Sri Advaita Prabhu belongs to the Vishnu category, he displays servitorship to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as one of his associates. When Lord Vishnu appears as a servitor, he is called an incarnation of devotee of Lord Krishna, Sri Sankarshana, who is an incarnation of Vishnu in the spiritual sky known as the Greater Vaikuntha. He is a chief of the quadruple incarnations and is the original incarnation of a devotee. Lord Mahavishnu, who is lying on the causal ocean, is a manifestation of Sankarshana. He is the original personality of Godhead who glances over the material and efficient causes of the cosmic manifestation. Advaita Prabhu is accepted as an incarnation of Mahavishnu. All the plenary manifestations of Sankarshana are indirect expansions of Lord Krishna. That consideration also makes Advaita Prabhu an eternal servitor of Gaura Krishna. Therefore, he is accepted as a devotee incarnation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, as we had discussed a long time ago, that Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of Mahavishnu and anybody?
Sadashiv.
Sadashiv. Who are both Vishnu Tattvas. Right? So, he appears as a combined incarnation of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. Therefore, he is Vishnu Tattva. So it's an incarnation. So that's one point being made here. Second point is made is that Lord Sankarshan sorry, I lost my line here. Shri Sankarshan, who is the incarnation of Vishnu in this book, known as Greater Vaikuntha, chief of. Okay, so Sankarshan, the first quadruple expansion is what? Sankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. Right? So there, Sankarshan is being referred to here, and then Sankarshan is another expansion of Sankarshan called Mahasankarshan or Dvitiya Sankarshan, right? And Mahavishnu is incarnation of that. The point being made here is that you can go expansion after expansion after expansion, but because they are all expansions of Lord Balaram, who carries the servitude mood, therefore they all carry the servitude mood. Right? And when the Lord appears as a devotee, is known as Bhakta Avatar. So again, that leading to the conclusion that Advaita Acharya has come as a devotee, but he's actually Lord Mahavishnu and Lord Sadashiv, therefore he's a devotee avatar, a Bhakta Avatar. Okay? Lord Sankarshan also appears as Lakshman. Right? So again, Bhakta Avatar. Right? Bharat Shatrugna, the same thing. We are devotees of Lord Ram. Bhakta Avatar. Okay? So he's a devotee, but he's also at the same time an incarnation. So I don't know how many of you remember that verse we had done. I think it's the first chapter, Adi Lila, first chapter, text 14. Panchtattvakam Krishna, Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam, Bhakta Avtaram Bhaktyakhyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So five tattvas, Panchtattvas have been described. One is the Lord himself. Second is Prakash, the Swarup, which is Lord Nityanand. Bhakta Avtaram is Lord Advaita Acharya. Right? Bhaktakhyam is Gadadhar Pandit, Radharani. I'm sorry, Bhaktakhyam is Bhakta, Shivas Pandit, and Shakti is Gadadhar Pandit, Radharani. So those are five tattvas that next chapter will really study in great detail. But those are five tattvas. So Point I'm making is that one of the tattvas is avatar, Bhakta avatar, that's Advaita Acharya.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay. 130. Advaita Acharya Gosai Mahima Apar Jahar Hunkar Kal Chaitanya Avatar. The glories of Sri Advaita Acharya are boundless. For his sincere vibrations brought about Lord Chaitanya's descent upon this earth. Imagine the power of the person who shouts for Krishna and says, okay, I'm coming. And he appears as Lord Chaitanya. Just imagine. So Krishna's Kaviraj is saying, limitless glories of Advaita Acharya. How can you define it? You can touch a part of it, but you cannot define it. That's who is he brought Lord Chaitanya to this earth. And Lord Chaitanya many times his past life said, he used to call him Nala. Advaita Acharya's nickname was Nala. So Advaita Acharya said, Nala brought me here, Nala brought me here, Nala brought me here. Many times he said that. Okay. 114. Sankirtan Pacharya Sab Jagat Taril Advaita Prasadil Lok Prema Dhan Pahil. He liberated the universe by preaching Sankirtan. Thus the people of the world receive the treasure of love of Godhead through mercy of Shri Advaita Acharya. So he was preaching, he was doing Sankirtan Yagyas, Nam Sankirtan, going house to house to preach, and he was preaching Srimad Bhagavatam, all that, after bringing Lord Chaitanya here, so delivering the whole universe. 115. Advaita Mahima Ananta Ke Pare Kahite, Say Likhi Jaishani Mahajan Hoite. Now the humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj is coming. He's saying, who can describe the unlimited glories of Advaita Acharya? I will write here as much as I've known from great authorities. The two main great authorities that he's referring to. Anybody remembers who those two great authorities were?
Rupa Goswami.
Swarup Damodar?
No. Swarup Damodar, yes, because of Karcha, the diary. Then Raghunath Das Goswami. He used to go to Radhakund and hear about Lord Chaitanya pastimes all the time. So from that and the diary of Swarup Damodar, he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. 116. Acharya Charane Mor Koti Namaskar. Ithe kichu aparadh na lobe amar. I offer my obeisances 10 million times to the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya. Please do not take offense at this. How many of us can do even 1 million obeisances? He's offering 10 million. And it's like Raghunath Goswami used to offer every day 1008 obeisances to the Vaishnavas and 1008 obeisances to Radhakund or deities. Every day. And I challenge you, try doing 200 obeisances a day, your knees will be gone after a week. Try it if you don't believe it. But he was doing it 2,000 times. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhuji, sorry. Who was doing it?
Raghunath Das Goswami. He's residing in Radhakund. This is what he was doing.
Prabhuji, I don't know if we mentioned this at the beginning when we started the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves the mature world, Raghunath Das Goswami wants to leave as well. He wants to give up his body.
Correct. That's correct.
And he comes to Vrindavan with the intent of, drowning himself in the Yamuna. And I think it's Jiva Goswami or Rupa Goswami who understand his mind.
Yeah.
And, he says, he wanted to do the same thing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Vrindavan.
Yeah.
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped him and said, your body belongs to me. The body doesn't belong to you anymore. So you can't do that. And then he encouraged Raghunath Goswami to, because he was the only one who was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to really, tell them all the Lilas and all the different pastimes that Mahaprabhu had spent. And this is how we got, the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah, mercy of Raghunath Das Goswami. That's why when he ends the chapter, always offers obeisances to Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami.
I think it's Raghunath Das Goswami's bhajan or samadhi maybe on Radhakund.
No, Bhajan
where
Kuti,
they're doing
Samadhi
kirtan.
and Bhajan Kuti are there.
They're
and
both there.
24/7 Kirtan going on there.
Yeah, there's always kirtan going on there. That's
24/7.
right.
It doesn't want to go.
Yes.
Okay. 117. तुम्हार महिमा कोटि समुद्र अगाध तहार होइया तोहार यत्ता कही a बड़ अपराध. Your glories are as fathomless as millions of oceans and seas. Speaking of its measure is a great offense indeed. So you're trying to bound, I should say, bound the unlimited, the boundless. Can't do that. It's an offense. Krishna's recognizing that, saying, what I'm doing is an offense, but I'm just doing it for the betterment of other people. 118. Jaya 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 Shri Advaita Acharya. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Ari. All glories to Shri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the superior Lord Nityananda. 119. Dushloka Kahil Advaita Bhakta Nirupan, Tattva Nirupan, Panchatattva Vichar Kichu Shun Bhaktagam. Thus, in 2 verses, I have described the truth concerning Advaita Acharya. Now, O devotees, please hear about the 5 truths, Panchatattva. 120. See again, it's offering verses Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Goswami. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Jar Ash, Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta proposed to Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila, 6th chapter, describing the glories of Shri Advaita Acharya. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter. So we're going to pause here. We'll start the next chapter next week. Questions, comments, corrections?
Prabhuji, we finished volume 1 today.
Is the volume 1 today? In my book, it goes to chapter 7.
Yeah.
Mine
Online.
too.
Oh, okay. I downloaded it from PDF from Google, then it says until
Oh, I see.
chapter it's volume 1.
Okay. In hard copy, it goes 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you really get a feel for Krishnadas Goswami's dilemma in writing the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Especially in the last few shlokas he mentions in this chapter where he says, like, he almost sounds like I'm committing an offense talking about this because it's limitless. I can't describe enough, yet I have to describe it to a limit, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Why did he have to describe it? Because of the instructions from the senior devotees.
Yeah.
That's why he did. Which is the lesson for us. Obey, follow the instructions of the senior devotees. And how does he end this chapter? He says, I want to follow the footsteps of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Goswami. Satovritte. Following the footsteps. What did they do? What footsteps there? What footsteps are you talking about? Like, what's the footsteps of Raghunath Goswami, Rupa Goswami? Where are they going? That he wants to follow in the footsteps. Where are they going?
I think he wants to follow in their path of devotion, right? In their path of bhakti.
Yeah. 24/7 devotion. And following all the instructions. Like, what were the instructions? The Goswamis, mainly Rupa Goswami, Sarvam Goswami, but others also. Reveal the places of Lila, Krishna Lila. Write books, I mean. Open temples. Right? Reside in Dham and maintain the devotees in the Dham. So actually, Rupa Goswami, he saved some money. So he could take care of the cows and the devotees who had no money. So he'll supply them food and everything throughout his life. So they were following Lord Chaitanya's instructions to the letter. And so what happened? When Rupa Goswami, I should say, Radha Govindji, when he revealed himself to Rupa Goswami, he made that temple and he was trying to do the deity worship, write the books, preach, reveal the places of Krishna Lila, And he realized that he cannot do all that. So what did he want to give up? What was not ordered directly to do? It was deity worship. So he wrote to Lord Chaitanya, I cannot do deity worship and do all the things that you told me to do. So please send help. So Lord Chaitanya sent, what was the name of the devotee? My memory. Very famous person. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. So he said, I'm not going. He refused to come to Vrindavan. Why? He said, because where you're not there, I don't want to go. So Lord Chaitanya, so Lord Chaitanya said, no, you should go. And he gave him a small deity of Krishna, Radha Krishna. You also worship this. So even today, it's called, oh my God, my memory today. It has a special name. It's Gaur Govind. Yeah, Gaur Govindji. So that's still there. So you have Radha Govindji, larger deities, and small deities of Radha Krishna, called Gaur Govindji. They're still there today, but he brought them with him. And then that wasn't enough, because he was getting bogged down. So then Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was sent. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, wait a minute, I'm not into all this. So Lord Chaitanya said, no, you go, you have only two jobs, deity worship and read the Bhagavatam. That's it. That's all service. You go there just to do that. So Raghunath Bhatt Goswami could read every verse of Bhagavatam in 3 different very sweet mellows. Like you go crazy with bliss when you hear him chant Bhagavatam. So he would be with class. And even Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami will often come and attend that class. Like people of that caliber were listening to his class. So what happened one time? I think in a few minutes I'll just tell you the story. He was one day sitting there and explaining the first verse of Gopi Gita. Jayati te adhikam. Right? You all know that. Explaining that. So there's a person who came from somewhere in India because he had heard about the purports, sorry, the classes of Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. So he came to hear. So he came and sat down. There were hundreds of people sitting, listening. But this person happened to sit by a person whom he did not know. But he had his eye, this person had eyes closed and looked like he was not breathing. So this man actually got worried. He said, maybe this guy died. So what do? He went and got some cotton. You know, kapas, cotton. Anyway, cotton. So I put it under the nostrils of this person. That if the cotton moves, then he's breathing. It doesn't move, then he's dead. So he put it there and left it there. I noticed that every once in a while, cotton will move. So he said, okay, at least it's not dead. In the meantime, Raghunath Goswami was explaining the Gopi Gita text 1. When he finished, this person who this man thought was dead, he exhaled. He let this, breathe go, breathe it out. When he breathed out, the cotton caught fire. Cotton caught fire when he breathed out. So obviously he pulled the cotton out and, and he asked everybody, who is this person? And people told him he's Sanatana Goswami. So what then he understood was that Sanatana Goswami was feeling the same sense of separation from Krishna as the gopis were when they were singing Gopi Gita. And there was this fire of separation burning in his heart. And it came out when he breathed after the end of the purport of the lecture. So all the fire came out of his breath. And the cotton caught fire. So the reason I tell you that story is that that's the level of purity of devotion of these people. Right? But it came from following the instructions of the Lord. So Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, I want to follow in your footsteps. So I can follow the instructions of my Lord Nityananda. And instructions of all the senior devotees who told me to write this book. So offense or not offense, I'm doing it because they instructed me to do. That's what he means by following the steps. So important, so deep. Right?
Thank you, Prabhuji. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Very
Sure.
beautiful, Prabhuji.
Hey, Nitya, how are you? Hare
So
Krishna.
nice to know this, Prabhuji.
Sorry, Devjani?
So nice to know this,
Ah,
Prabhuji.
thank you. Any other questions or comments?
So
Very
nice,
good start to
Prabhuji.
Kartik
Today's
Mantra.
lecture is so nice.
Thank you.
Emotional.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to share something.
Huh?
So there is a ISKCON Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya, and there is a course on overview of Chaitanya Charitamrita by S.B. Keshav Swami. So it's a series of 8 videos, and there is a CC Chaitanya Charitamrita compact. It is really good. It gives a very high level, all the highlights of Chaitanya Charitamrita. I can share the link if anybody is interested.
Sure.
I think it's going to be really useful.
Absolutely, Mataji. Please do. I know Keshav Swami personally. He is one of the best devotees I've ever met. His classes are out of this world. Out of this world. And a lot of them very practical classes, and really answer a lot of questions that we all have. So by all means, Mataji, please share it. I'm sure it will be amazing. And I encourage everyone to find some time to go through those videos.
There is a slight cost. It's like $7 where you get the videos. If somebody just wants the book, I can share the PDF as well if they don't want to. I'll send both the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever is
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah,
whatever.
please do. Yeah.
I'll email that to you, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Or you can put on chat box, whatever you like.
Yeah, you know what? Chat, it gets lost.
Okay,
So
sure.
I'll just email. Actually, I might respond to the email that you send out
Yeah,
because everybody's there.
just reply all and then everybody
Yeah,
will.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shalini
Yeah,
ji.
no worries.
Thank you, Varun.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, I appreciate that. Anything else? Okay.
I'm
One
very
thing.
happy to back on
I'm
the
so happy
beginning
you're
of
back, Devjani.
Kartik was chosen all because of you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hey, Usha,
Hare
how are you?
Krishna.
Good, Prabhu. Happy Damodar month.
Happy Damodar
Damodar
month to you
Raksham ki
too.
बहुत बहुत बधाई.
To all of you, happy Damodar month, happy Kartik.
Everybody.
Enjoy. Don't forget to read Kapi Geet. Don't forget to chant Damodar Shtakam. Don't forget
I
to
did
offer the
finish
lamb.
it.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. I just finished it. I'm heading to temple.
Oh, that's right. You are 3 hours behind us. I just came back.
Yeah,
The rest of the temple will start this class.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did finished here at home. I'm heading.
Okay, that's great.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. One
Hare
second.
Krishna. Dandavad
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna,
Prabhuji. Thank you.
everyone. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Take care.
Rush. नाम नहीं बोलना भाषा का